Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Hi, lovely people. We just wanted to pop on before we get started on our episode to ask you if you would mind, if you haven't done so already, please could you rate and review our podcast. If you're not already, could you make sure that you're following us on Spotify, Apple, or any podcast player that you listen to us on, so you can make sure that you get notified every week when a new episode comes out. You never know when you might need to hear it. It could be perfect timing. And also, don't forget, you can watch us on YouTube as well. And if you watch us over there, don't forget to subscribe. Again, you'll get notified with all the new and latest episodes.
And also, don't forget to share with all your friends, anyone who you might think will enjoy our podcast.
Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate all your support. We appreciate you listening to us every week. Thank you so much. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash
And Becky.
It's us.
It's us.
It feels wrong not saying the guest edition now, doesn't it? No, I don't even say it. You do, but still, nevertheless. Anyhow, I feel like we say this every time as well, but it's been a bit of a kerfuffle before.
Yeah.
Recording this episode. We were supposed to be recording the guest episode, internet issues, so that's to be rescheduled, and you've got us instead. So we obviously, as always, didn't have anything planned at all, so on the spot we've said what needs to be shared today, what are we feeling, what's been coming up for us, and what we came up with was
the energies. Just as simple as that. Because they're playing havoc at the moment, aren't they, with us, so we're guessing you guys are feeling it too.
Yeah.
So
100%. And it's something that's, a lot of people are like, is Tasha's war cry? It's the energies. It's the energies. Everything's the energies. But it is the energies. And also, you guys know us by now, we're all about empowering and giving you back control, so that you're not a victim to external circumstances. So I kind of want to put a disclaimer out there that though we are saying like a lot of this stuff is because of the energies, it's still coming from a place of not that, oh my gosh, I can't do anything because of the energies, but okay, so this is what's happening, so now I can be in control of it. Because when you know things and you're aware of things, you can look at it from a different perspective. You can tell yourself a different story, and that's a story of empowerment and positivity. And we're going to show you how you can flip this to help you on your spiritual journey, to help you in your self-development and personal growth journey. And well, I think that's just kind of that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, because we've done it as well. So this is what we're doing, and it's working, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we just want to let you guys know as well. We are the example of trial and error, especially that's how Tash works. We've tried it and it's worked. So you've got to do it.
Yeah. And also, this has been a great way, actually, that I've learned to develop my intuition, isn't it? Because I became aware of the energies by accident, because I realised that I started getting headaches when it was stormy weather. And that's what first made me kind of get in touch with my body and therefore my intuition, because your intuition works through your body. So, yeah, and then it kind of developed on from there as I became, it was like the training ground as I then became more in touch with it. And now, obviously, there's so much out there if you want to look for it, if you follow on social media and stuff, with like people channeling, energy reports, the human resonance, all these things, and then plus stuff that's coming from like NASA and that those kind of places, which then confirms what I am already feeling. So like I'll say to Becky, oh Bex, something's going on, there's some kind of solar flare or something, because I can feel it, I'm getting this and this again, and then sure enough we'll get it confirmed. And it's just been a great way to trust my intuition, and now I actually don't need to have it confirmed. I don't look for confirmation that there's a solar flare or we're going through a particular, you know, like space weather or whatever. I don't care, because I know. So why do we want you to know this, and how is it going to help you? Well, I would say, like, how it's helped us is really around the symptoms. So some of you might know they're kind of called Ascension symptoms. Well, we're going to get woo-woo in this episode. Prepare yourself, guys. We told you we're going to start sharing more. And it's time, isn't it? So, okay. So, do you think we need to take it back to the whole, like, Ascension symptoms, like Ascension?
Yeah.
Should we do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the way we see the Earth right now is that we are all going into a new cycle of human consciousness, human evolution. And this point right now, where we are on Earth is a really exciting time. We have spoken about this before. We've touched on it because humanity's consciousness is rising. Evidence of that is, like, you know, more people are, for lack of a better term, because I don't like this, waking up. They're becoming more aware of their spiritual selves. You know, COVID had a lot to thank for that. More people are digging into their kind of, you know, the inner work, the shadow work. They're looking at themselves on a different level. You know, how can I be better? Repeating patterns, doing all the subconscious mindset work that obviously I do with people. People are becoming more self-aware. And this is because we are at a point where I believe that we are here to raise our consciousness and evolve to the next level of human, basically. And there's lots of things that kind of contribute to that. But because for this episode, we're talking about energies, it seems as though we are moving through a place in space that has very particular energies, very high light energies, because everything is light. So we say everything is energy, everything is based around light. Light is information. We're made up of light. So we're going through a really high light how do you say it, like a place in the solar system, in the galaxy, where there's high frequency lights, and we're getting bombarded by it. And like I said, we are made of light, and light carries information. And if you get down to it, like down into the quantum science of it, we are just light. So that stands to reason then that if we're getting bombarded with more light and higher vibrations of light, higher frequencies of light, it's going to affect us. But again, humans aren't just like the be all and end all, and they're not the only things that have consciousness. You know, planets have consciousness and awareness. Planets are made up of light as well. Stars are made up of light. Everything is made up of light. So everything's getting affected, and we all are connected, and we all play a part. You know, this is why we've got astrology. Astrology affects us, like where the planets and the stars were and where we were in the galaxy has an effect on who we are when we come in as a human. You know, we've spoken about this before. The moon affects our tides. The moon affects our behaviors. We are all connected. So it's not wild to imagine that where we are in the galaxy at the moment, in the universe at the moment, traveling through, because we're always moving, aren't we? This is going to have an effect on us as humans. It makes sense. We've always got to dig down and think about what we are fundamentally, which is energy and light. Yes, we appear like we're physical, but you have to get past this. This is a real, you know, I feel really strongly about this at the moment. We have to start seeing ourselves as energy and as light so that we can understand the things that are actually happening to us at the moment. I don't want to go down too deep into this because really what I want from this episode is for us to explain how this concept, these energies, is actually affecting you on an everyday basis as a human, and what you can do about that to like help yourself. But I feel like you have to know that. You have to understand what we're talking about here. The sun at the moment is in a really, really active phase. So we've been bombarded by, just in the past, I mean, it's beginning of June now as we record this, just in the past like a few weeks, we've been bombarded with huge solar flares, and so many of them, you know, even like this last year we've had loads more solar flares. And again, they are all, it's electromagnetic energy, it's light energy, it's photons, you know, we're getting affected by it. The earth is a consciousness, the earth is alive, and she is being affected by it as well. And again, another conversation, but that's why things start happening, you know, with natural disasters and stuff. It's the earth's way of releasing, just as we are releasing, because everything is happening on a micro level and a macro level. So everything that we're talking about us, you can also take that and assume that that is happening on the bigger level as well, like on the galactic level, the cosmic level. So with all that being said, how I see it is that, like I said, we are made of light, but because we're here at this time at the moment in the 3D, we're very dense, so less light. And what is trying to happen at the moment with this evolution of our consciousness, our bodies are also evolving to meet our consciousness as well. So like I said, lots more people are waking up, the consciousness is expanding and evolving. You know, we know why, we've seen why, and everybody listening to this is going to be on board with that and understand that. And it's almost like our consciousness has kind of gone a bit more ahead, but our bodies are still trying to play catch up. And what's happening now is that our bodies are trying to evolve out of this really dense physical state and become lighter. And what that literally means is just able to absorb more light, because remember, like we are just light. But when we're getting bombarded with all these light codes from the sun, from the galaxy, from the universe, we are able to increase the amount of light that we can pull into ourselves, that we can pull into our physical bodies. So that's what I mean by our body needs to be upgrading as well. That's what it needs to be doing. Okay. So then, and I'm trying to make this sound like I'm trying to really simplify this. In order to access more light, to hold more light in our bodies, we have to release dense energies in our bodies to make space for more light to come in. Does that make, does what I'm saying make sense so far?
Perfect sense.
Because I've never really had this conversation with you, have I? Okay.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Okay. So effectively, that is what's going on cosmically. That's what's happening to us cosmically. And then that's what's happening to us on a physical level with our bodies. All of that then leads us to having what we started off by saying, these ascension symptoms. Now, I wonder how many of you have been feeling like you're just feeling a bit under the weather lately, all the time, constantly. Like, oh God, I've got the snuffles again. I've got a sore throat again. You know, really bad headaches. Chest palpitations, persistent cough, like anything. It could be anything. But like, really, you know, what I'm saying is, how many of you have felt some kind of ailment, but you don't actually feel sick?
No, and it never actually really comes to anything in particular. You just feel like it's about to erupt, but it never does.
It's like, you know when you have the flu, because you can't get out of bed. You're sick for a period of time, and then you're back. Whereas this is a little bit different. This lingers, it comes and goes. Like you said, it never comes to anything in particular. And so you can't say, you know, like, oh, I'm sick, I need to call off work, or can't do this or that. You kind of can, but you just feel a bit rubbish, especially like tiredness.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm so tired lately.
And it's a different kind of tired, isn't it? It's like you all of a sudden, 1 minute you feel like you're okay, and then the next minute you're wiped out, and you're like, oh, I've got nothing in me. I just feel like I need to get into bed and go to sleep. That's another huge sign of ascension symptoms. So all that to say, basically, I think you can get frustrated at yourself, and you can be like just annoyed in general that you're sick all the time,
Yeah.
and you beat yourself up for it, and you feel like you're taking care of yourself, maybe you're going to the gym, maybe you are trying to eat healthfully, and yet still, like, why do I feel rubbish like this?
Yeah.
Especially if you didn't really feel like it before. So the whole point of us doing this podcast episode really is to get you to think about this from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So, because I always think I've had, like I said, it's June now, early June, and this last couple of weeks, been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? I've really felt these Ascension symptoms, and like I said, before I knew about any of this, before I kind of my intuition led me to down this path, I just thought I was ill all the time.
Yeah, and it gets you down.
It really gets you down.
Again.
Exactly, and you do feel a bit like. It makes you feel really just crappy, doesn't it? It really does. When I started realizing, oh, hang on a minute, there's a pattern to this. This is, I'm feeling that particular headache type thing again, or my chest is fluttering, like I feel like my heart flutters a little bit out of nowhere and for no logical reason. I'm like, oh, there it is again. I've got my telltale sign, so that's definitely mine. My heart fluttering for sure, headache and dizziness. This weird like wooziness, almost a little bit like when you've had a couple of drinks, and you just feel a little bit like heady. I definitely get that. They're my telltale signs. Now, they can obviously all differ. I think we all have our own particular weaknesses or maybe telltale signs. I don't know what they are. I don't quite understand it. But I would say you guys listening, think about if there's something that keeps repeating, like some kind of symptom that keeps repeating, pay attention to it. And start noticing when it comes, start noticing, so for me, it can be a symbol, a marker that something is happening. Like it can almost tell you, oh, the solar flare's just hit. And then, now this is really important as well, not only then do you get physical symptoms, but then that they can be the start, but then you start getting emotional symptoms. And this is where I really kind of wanted to focus on because I'll speak about my thing the other day briefly, like what I had. And when I was going through it, I had all these emotions come up out of nowhere, out of the blue. And when I was going through it, I kept thinking, thank God I have an awareness that this is what this is. It's Ascension symptoms. Otherwise, I think I was going mad. I would think I'm so out of control. I think that like I'm losing the plot and I haven't got it together, despite the fact that I am always trying to do the inner work and I'm trying to work on myself and I'm trying to do, like the subconscious mindset work, feeling my emotions, blah, 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 blah. If I didn't have this awareness, I really would think,
you could be going to the doctors and asking for pills, couldn't you? If you're not aware of this.
Because what's happening, let's go back to talking about the light and us rising in our lightness. And I said about the density, losing the density, right? So this density is actually old stored energy, emotions from this lifetime, from past lifetimes, potentially from parallel lifetimes. We're multidimensional, and I don't even understand the hugeness, the infiniteness of us. I can only imagine it, but this is a time where all of that is coming up to be released, because we I've seen this from my work. I've seen how us as humans in this lifetime now are carrying over heavy patterns of behavior, heavy dense beliefs, that aren't serving us anymore from lifetime to lifetime. And that's why I do the past life regressions. I am trying to break those cycles for souls so they don't have to keep coming back and reliving the same pattern, the same like heartache over and over again. And I really feel that we're in a time now where and we're being helped by the energies. And again, this is what I'm saying, let's flip the perspective, because yes, there's that whole kind of like tough part of it, the ascension symptoms, but this is a good thing.
Yes,
it's so exciting. We are being helped by the energies right now, and by, you know, all these healing techniques that we have, the past life regression, all the other stuff that everyone does, everything. We are able to finally let go of all this density, all of this heaviness, all of this, you know, like I said, emotions, behaviors, beliefs, patterns that kept us living down in this dense 3D world where life is tough and we're separate. And, you know, everything is, we're out to get just for ourselves because there's not enough of anything, like this scarcity mindset. The fear. Yes, absolutely. And it's time for us to remember who we are and remember the truth of reality. Well, that we can control our reality, and this place is just a kind of a playground for learning. But it's time that actually we've done all that dense stuff over, you know, eons of years and time. We've done that. It's the earth wants to ascend, and we are ascending with it, our consciousness and our bodies. And so we need to release these patterns and these densities, right? So I feel like we're going all over the place, but then it always comes back to the energies. And so when you start feeling, let's get back to your life, your everyday life, if you are feeling at the moment like you are on an emotional roller coaster, this could be why. And instead of seeing it as hard work and, you know, oh, like I said, hopeless, like difficult, why me, beating yourself up, get excited. Because every time you go on that emotional low and you start feeling like old feelings are surfacing again, old fears are surfacing again, old patterns, you're starting to do that again. And you think, oh, for goodness sake, I've already dealt with that. Why is this coming back up again? Know that you are ascending. You are getting lighter. Your body's getting lighter. Your consciousness is evolving, and your body's trying to catch up with it. And so in order to get rid of these dense energies, they have to come up to the surface. We know that. We've spoken about this in loads of podcasts, just talking about the psychology level and the subconscious mindset work. You have to have this come up to the surface so that it can then be released. And okay, it's a bit rubbish because you have to feel them. And you've got all the human thoughts that come with that, and it feels very real when you're doing it. But if you can get into a state of allowing and just, you know, ride that roller coaster rather than being dragged along by it screaming, holding in your mind that this is amazing. Every time I feel this, every time I have to suffer that fear or that pain or that pattern or those emotions and those feelings again, I'm one step closer to releasing them for good.
That's it.
You know? And like you said, it's really exciting.
Well, it's these two worlds, isn't it? And I do exactly what you've just said. So I think, yes, I'm going to the new world. I'm not staying here where it's dense. I want to go with it. So it just changes everything, doesn't it?
It does. And, you know, I just, every time these feelings come up, I have to check myself again, because it's very, very easy to fall back into those old patterns. So, you know, again, like these emotions that come up and you think, I've fixed that. I've healed that. Damn it. I thought I'd done it.
And you get down on yourself.
And also you fall into it again. Like you go back into that subconscious autopilot behavior again, and it starts taking you back to those old places where, so for example, let's just talk about, you know, I'll just use me as an example because it's easier, and that my old patterns of I'm not doing enough, I'm not achieving enough, I should be further along, the pressure thing, like I have something to do and I must do it and I'm not doing it quick enough. That's one of my recurring patterns of behavior, and you know, I keep chipping away at it, and every time I get further along, and then it creeps back up again. And even though I do this every day, I talk about it every day, and I'm on it every day, I still find myself slipping back into it, telling myself the old stories, having those old fears, until I go, oh, hang on a minute, no, this is just to be felt. Remember, this isn't your truth. That's not my truth anymore. I've done so much work. I know that is not my truth. So when you can then catch yourself, and then I can remind myself, nope, that's not mine. It's just coming up to be released. I allow myself to feel it, but I'm not going to get swept away by it. This is when, you want to get all the toolkit coming out, the breath. Boring, I know. It is boring, but it's just the most powerful thing you could do. And I'm not even talking fancy breathing techniques. If I was to then go into that kind of feeling of fear again, oh my God, I'm not posting enough on social media. I need to get more people to hear this podcast. Rah, rah, rah. Break the pattern by stopping and just twice is enough to snap you out of it.
Yeah, I do it twice. What a difference.
It's enough, isn't it?
It just resets. I do feel I had to train myself.
Absolutely.
To be able to feel that and it make a difference. But once you have, like you say, just those 2 breaths. Because it sounds so, people would annoy you, wouldn't they? Oh, just take a breath.
It's so annoying. It's
like, God, now I'm doing it. I know. Does it really work?
Yeah.
But you've just got to train your body to respond to this breath, isn't it? Like with the meditations and that.
Yeah.
But that is in your toolkit for sure.
It's so easy as well. I mean, it's so easy, but it's not, because what's difficult is catching yourself so that you can then take those breaths, because you get, it's so real. You're so used to, it's a path so well trodden for your brain that it just slips down there and you forget. And this is the trick. And again, you can only do what you can do as long as you're staying aware and you try always to catch yourself, you're doing your best. That's great. And so the breath, just take a couple of breaths, and effectively what that's doing is, one, it's on a physical level, you're regulating your nervous system. You're stimulating your vagus nerve. It takes you out of fight or flight and puts you into your parasympathetic nervous system response, which is rest and digest. So scientifically, that's what your breath is doing. But also on a spiritual level, your breath is connecting you to that energetic, the universal source of who you are, of the divine, of, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe. Is connecting you back in with that. And what I also like to do when I breathe is, at the same time, drop down my awareness into my heart, because you're up here. When you're in your fears and your patterns, you're up in your head. So when you're taking those 2 deep breaths, I will move my awareness down into my heart, and that really, really does help as well. Because once you're in your heart, you're like, especially if you've been doing all the work with your beliefs and stuff, that's when you can go, oh, you're okay. You're safe. You know the score. You're enough as you are. You don't have to be or do or achieve anything. And then you remember, and that is enough to, as a pattern interrupt, to get you back on track. And I just think it's really important to hear that and know, if you don't do anything else in these times where you feel like you're on this emotional roller coaster, use that, remember that. And again, it's not about stopping, it's not about stopping it straight away. There's a balance, isn't there? Because you have to feel it. It's coming up to be felt, to be released. But it's about not getting sucked down into it. And like I said, even now, I still get sucked down lots of times.
And I think a lot of us don't want to feel it.
No.
So if we can just remember, like you say, once you've done those breaths and you remember that you're safe and you are calm, then say, okay, let me feel it. And that's really important, isn't it? Because like before I knew all this stuff, I would have just been, oh my God, I don't like that feeling. Let's go over here and distract myself. I would never feel it. So then I'm not releasing, as you said, to the energies. So then if I'm not releasing these emotions, I haven't got the capacity to take in more light, like you said at the beginning.
Exactly.
So it's so important to feel it, but after you've calmed yourself, isn't it? And you're going to be kind to yourself about it. You're not going to beat yourself up about whatever this feeling is, and allow it to just flow through you, and it's gone.
And I think the most important thing to remember there is, like, everything that you said is right. And effectively what that is you want to feel it, but you want to be detached from it.
Yeah.
Because there's feeling it and then being in it.
Yeah.
And there's feeling it and being an observer, a detached observer from it. So you can feel all those emotions in your body, but you can still be saying to yourself, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because
No
that's
shame.
funny. No shame.
Like you say, it can be amusing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, bless.
I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again. But also then this is where, you know, what we're talking about in this episode comes in. At the same time, whilst you're doing that, you can say, and this is amazing because, yeah, I'm feeling it, but I'm feeling it because it's coming up to be gone. And when I'm doing this, I'm one step closer to it being gone forever. I am released. And again, visualize yourself if you want to. We've spoken about the power of visualization. Your imagination is your superpower. It is so much more powerful than you realize, and it's real. And it is really real. So whilst you're doing that as well, you know, you could visualize this dense, however you see it, this dense, I see it as this muddy, cloggy, thick, tarry type thing.
Mine's like a black smoke.
Well, there we go. See, like
blowing out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then I just see that, you blow it out.
Yeah.
I see it like dripping out of me. And then all this space has become free for this light that we're getting bombarded with to fill up, and then see yourself shine, like feel yourself lighter, rising, like however. And again, we've just told you two of our ways that we see it and experience it. That is not to say that has to be how you do it. Visualize it however you want to. Your imagination is powerful, and your intuition is what needs to guide you, not ours. We're just giving you examples of what ours looks like so that you can do the same for yourself in a way that works for you. But yeah, I just think, I mean, honestly, really, we could go on and talk for ages, but I think that's the most important, you know, aspects, isn't it? You've got an understanding of what is going on at the moment. We're in this kind of cosmic part of space where we are being bombarded by this beautiful high vibrational light. You are light. You are a light body, but you are now at a point in time where your body is ready to evolve to a higher vibration of light, a higher amount of light, basically, to put into really like simple terms. Your consciousness is evolving, but it's a little bit far ahead than your body. So your body's trying to catch up, and that's strain. Like that's difficult for your body, which is why then you get all these physical symptoms like headaches, colds, sore throats, snuffly nose, sinusy stuff, like any kind of sinusy stuff. I would always say be aware that could be full disclaimer, check that there's nothing seriously wrong with you. You know, if you're coughing up really loads of green phlegm, you may have an infection, maybe go to the doctors. But, you know, for the most part, if you're feeling like we said, you know, that you're not really sick, there's nothing really wrong with you, you're just having these symptoms. They're probably Ascension symptoms, fluttery hearts. You might have, I don't really get stuff down the lower part of my...
No, I don't.
No,
I get a sore neck.
Oh, yeah, neck and shoulders.
Yeah.
Definitely neck and shoulders. I've got that at the moment, actually.
Yeah.
Lower back. My lower back, I will really feel it in my back and my hips as well. Joint stuff, you know, all these niggles that we often put down to getting old.
Yeah.
Got a cold again. Or like, you know, I've hurt myself at the gym, or I've pulled a muscle. Must have slept funny.
No.
Or exactly. No. No. As Becky said, no. All these things that just don't really have a particular full-on reason. You haven't fallen over and broken and snapped your leg.
Yeah.
I would suggest that they could potentially be right now Ascension symptoms, as well as the emotion, like we said, these emotions that are coming up. I mean, just the other day, and I'm not going to go into it, but just the other day, I had this whole past life appear in my mind, and I experienced it, and I was crying and crying and crying and sobbing, and I felt all of the emotions. It came out of nowhere. I was just minding my own business, having my morning coffee, and bam, it got me. And we could do a whole episode on that. Maybe we will. And interestingly, and this is something else to note, that was on the 6/6 portal. That was June the 6th. Numbers are really, really important as well. So we have like, you know, particular dates that are significant. And yeah, these 6/6 portals, 2/2 5/5, these kind of portals, they hold a particular power. And oh my gosh, did the 6/6 portal do a number on me? Got me. But it was, and again, when you know these things, you can harness them if you want. I didn't, because I was like, yeah, it's 6/6 portal, whatever comes, because I'm a bit like that now. I'm just like, whatever is supposed to happen will happen. I follow my intuition. I follow where I'm nudged. And yeah, this one hit me out of nowhere, but I felt amazing afterwards. And again, there was just loads of new realizations. I felt the release of whatever that was that I was carrying from that past, well, it was a few past lives, wasn't it? I had a few. Whatever I was carrying there, I released a lot of it. And again, I'm not saying that I released all of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to come, but that was a huge release for me. And I'm thinking in my mind, that's extra space for extra light to come in. And I always, every morning, I always open up my crown chakra and I imagine this beautiful light coming in from our sun, from the cosmos, coming into me and filling me up and glowing from within me and glowing out so that I can share it with everyone else as well. Visualization is powerful. But what I wanted to say before we finished is, again, in practical terms for you guys listening now, you know, sat there going, oh my God, this is me. Like, I so resonate with this. The most important thing I can say to you right now, seriously, is give yourself grace, rest, hydrate,
get outside
in nature and ground, and nurture your body with like good foods, light foods. What are light foods? Foods that are full of light, plants, you know, fruit, veg, not dense processed foods that don't have the light from the sun. Like, I am boring. I don't want to eat plants. I don't want to eat fruit. I don't want to eat veg all the time. I don't want to live on that. But I understand now what that means and why. But again, I'm all about not putting pressure on yourself. I'm all about being kind to yourself, about following your intuition and being led where you feel you need to go, because you're going to have everybody out there going, have a vegan diet, only eat plants and vegetables, you know, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. It's too overwhelming. So now you know that potentially you can reframe your perspective, and you know potentially you're not sick, you're not lazy, you're not like, oh, there's not something wrong with you. You are just upgrading, you are ascending, you are becoming lighter. You can give yourself a break, and you can understand why your poor body is being affected by this. It's doing so much work for you. Your body is just an amazing piece of technology, and it has to it's doing a lot. You don't even realize what it's doing for you. So the least you can do is be kind to it, listen to it, trust it. It will tell you what to do. This is why when you have those periods of time where, like you said, Bex, you just get wiped out and you're like, I just need to I feel like I really need to go to bed. Go to bed. Your body knows it has to go and rest so that it can start integrating all these light frequencies that it is bringing in. It's being bombarded with, you know. The same as for me, I do get wiped out sometimes. I had to go to bed over the weekend and I just had an hour's nap and it felt good. But for me, a lot at the moment, I'm getting called to go out into nature. So I'm literally getting out into my garden whenever I can. I'm walking barefoot on the grass, or the you know, even the pavement is fine because it's still the earth. I'm doing that as much as I can, like incessantly, not because I'm telling myself, oh, you should go out and ground. My body is calling me out there. I am being so drawn. Now I could go, oh, for God's sake, no, because I've got loads to do. I'm going to and ignore it. But I have got myself to a point now where I trust my body and my intuition so much that I'm like, if that's what it's telling me to do, this needs to get dropped. And I need to go out and do it. Because you don't have to go sit out there for hours. Just go and do it until you think, right, okay, that's fine. You'll feel it in your nervous system. You'll feel everything calm down. And then you can come back in. You have to be kind to yourself in these times. You are doing so much work. If you feel like these emotions are coming up and you are laughing and joking 1 minute and then crying in the depths of the despair the next, you're not going nuts. You are releasing those dense emotions from again, you might not even be aware, but you're doing it from different lifetimes. You're doing it, from different timelines. You have no idea. But just know that you could be doing that, and give yourself some grace. Go and like rest afterwards. I know we've all got a life to live and we've got things to do, but what we really need to start doing now in these times with all these crazy energies, and when I say crazy, they are crazy, but let's be thankful for them. Let's have gratitude for them, because they're amazing, they're exciting. You have got to give yourself some grace, and you have to think differently. You have to start having different priorities. It would never have been my priority to go and sit outside in the garden when I was in the middle of doing some work, but now it is.
And I bet you do it without even thinking. You just follow your body. And that's where you want to get to, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
So with that's amazing. Thank you, Tashi.
I didn't know it was going to go all
I was
down
fascinated by that.
We've never had that conversation.
I love listening to all the explanations why we're feeling this way. So,
and just remember, guys, you are getting lighter and lighter, so you can help yourself consciously by every morning when you wake up, say, today I intend to release the dense energies within me and allow in more of the light. Like I said, every morning I open up my crown chakra. I connect down to the earth to stabilize my energy. And then I open up my crown chakra and I let all this light, all this amazing light, your intention is everything. So it's my intention every morning to let in this light, because you're going to do it anyway, but you can consciously make it more effective, and you can make your journey and your experience of it so much easier and graceful if you are consciously aware of it, and you are using your superpower of your consciousness, of your mind and your thoughts and your imagination to help that along. So let that light in,
because some of us fight it, don't we? So if you can just allow it in.
Yes, exactly.
It's just, if you could set that intention like you do every day, that's really lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's your permission then. Your body's not going to fight it.
No, exactly. And listen to your body. It's doing such great work for you. Be kind to it, listen to it, treat it like you would a little child, something. Look after your bodies, guys. They're very precious.
Everyone listen to Dr. Tashi. She knows what she's talking about. I'm going back for a nap now.
Yeah, do you know what? I feel like I should go for a nap now.
And with that, okay.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Take care, everyone. Bye.